there, the reason probably why you're watching is you got a hot or a cold spot in your house. It's either too hot in your upstairs or in the downstairs or in a room, or it's too cold in the basement during the wintertime, or too hot in the basement during the summertime. Whatever it may be, there's something not right in the house. And why does this happen? Well, it's the lack of insulation. It's the lack of ventilation. It's something's not right in the house. There's too many infiltration points of hot and cold air coming into the house at any given time of the season. So how do we fix this? Well, one of the ways is we use tools such as an infrared gun. This helps us isolate where the cold air or hot air is coming in or going out from. Blower door tests give us a great indication of how the house is breathing. Most houses breathe from the bottom. It's called the stack effect. The air comes in from the bottom and goes out through the top. With forced air, the exhaust has to be exhausted out of the roof. Carbon monoxides from your hot water heater, from your forced air furnace. If you have a boiler, that's old tradition, the way the boilers work. Forced air comes in from the bottom, they have to exhaust the heat out. It's cleaner, we don't have to worry about itching, creating humidity during the winter months, which is a problem because by us creating humidity in our attics, if you have a rainforest up there, what are you going to get? Mold. Mold, we see mold 7 out of 10 times in attics. Why does mold occur? Why do ice dams occur? These are all the things that need to be fixed on most houses. The ice dams can get underneath the shingles. They fill your gutters. They overflow. Next thing you know, you got water inside the house. And the funny thing now is insurance companies aren't covering it anymore. State Farm shut down ice dams last year. Most of the insurance companies are doing that. Why? Well, they don't want to pay. And they're saying it's something that you should have fixed. You should have managed your house better. You should have fixed it. It's maintenance, as they come up with. But how are you supposed to know if you don't go in your attic that you need insulation? Well, good indication, as I said, it's either too hot in the summertime, too cold in the winter. That's usually a very good indication of what's going on. So then you get a professional over that knows what they're doing, that has an understanding of how attics work, how they breathe, how they should be insulated, and we go from there. We figure out a plan, we walk through the plan together, and we understand how we're going to fix a house. The problem is that it is so busy out there with all our corporate clients and all our major contributors that come in that we need to fix their houses and new construction, that it's hard to help out the individuals. So that's why we're coming to the people to try to help them help themselves. Sure, we try to help if we can, but it's rare that we can get out to an individual's house. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to enter the home and we're going to check through different infiltration points, where we're going to see the air is moving from. Hot air rises. It's very easy to see where it is going and where it's coming from just by using an infrared. We want to isolate those areas and fix those. How do we fix those? We will show you once we get in the attic. But let's go inside and we're going to look for these spots. So now here we are in a lovely house. This is a condo. We got a next door neighbor here, we got a next door neighbor here. So they share an attic space. So these are a little difficult, or a little more trying to get them to be insulated. Because when you have a neighbor, okay, their house is not insulated, if their attic's not insulated, but yours is, some of their cold or some of their hot can come in through the attic or through the walls or through different situations. So we need to seal up the house that we're in to make sure that these infiltration points, hot or cold, is not making its way into our house, which is going to bring down our energy, going to make our house less comfortable. So if we look, we have a cathedral ceiling here, and if you look at the infrared, what you can see is you can see the lines, the heat lines that are coming through, and those are thermal breaks in the rafters. So the heat's coming through the roof, hitting the rafter, or 2x8, and making its way through the cathedral ceiling. Now if you take a look at a candlelight, which is here, a candlelight's a great place for heat to rise up and through, or to radiate down and through. So if we look at this, you can see this, you can see the heat plume that's around, and it's about about a 5 degree difference. It's 79 degrees there. And if we look here at the blue, we're at 77 degrees, so it's a big difference in temperatures. And we look in here, and we get less and less. So you can see the points where the cold air and the hot air is coming through, there's a great indication of another can light where hot is coming through. So if you have 80-degree ceilings, how hard is it going to be for your air conditioner to keep your house at say 70, 71? What are you going to have to set your air conditioner at to keep up with 80-degree ceilings radiating down into your home? We have to cool them. How are we going to cool them? Well, one way is obviously insulation. Once we dense pack those ceilings and the hot air can't rise through, or the hot air in the attic can't radiate down through, then it's going to be easier for the air conditioner to cool that area and to keep the rest of the area cooler. So let's go in the attic and we're going to take a look at that and show you how we start sealing things up to make the house perform much better and to be a lot more comfortable. So here we are in an attic space, normal attic space, light on the deck space. It's only about 5 feet high. But if you look over to here, you have your ductwork, okay, that's insulated and sealed up. You plant them, your box, then you have a cathedral ceiling right here. As you can see, they put radiant barrier on this, and there's no insulation. That is why when we were downstairs, you saw all the infiltration points, the hot areas, and this is where you get your thermal breaks. The thermal breaks come through these 2x6s. Here's a 2x6. So when the heat transfers from outside, which gets to about 200 degrees on the top of a roof. Asphalt shingles, the only country in the world that uses asphalt, oil-based shingle, which is obviously one of the hottest things that's going to be out there, black, dark, captures the sun. Anyway, when it's 90 degrees outside here in Illinois, it's 200 degrees on the deck of the roof, gets up to 160 degrees in an attic. As you can see, it's getting rather warm in here. So what we do is, through this cathedral ceiling, we will net between each and every rafter and blow the insulation in, creating R49, which is then again going to give us that thermal barrier we're looking for. Each and every can light, here's a can light, there's a can light. As you can see, the boxes. We build an insulated box over the can light to ensure that the heat transfer will not come up nor go down. The way that we seal everything up, all the conduit, the lines in the drywall, is pretty simple. We take closed cell foam and we wrap closed cell foam in each and every nook and cranny to ensure that no heat can either rise up from the bottom or go down from the top. The whole idea is to create a pressurized atmosphere in your attic where a solar fan that we do install, solar, draws out the heat of the attic, keeping the temperature right around 100 degrees, making the AC work a lot more efficiently. We want to ensure that all these parts are sealed up, silver tape, everything's ported out, no condensation can be created in the attic. Ensure that everything is sealed up, again, insulated with insulated sleeves, just like this, and anything that is on the ground level, we can obviously encapsulate. Once it's all sealed up, then we get to the process of insulating, creating that last step in the thermal barrier. My followers and Patreons out there, one way to get a light bulb that's broken inside a socket is pretty easy. Get yourself a potato. You won't get shocked or anything like that. Put it in there like this. And then you unscrew the light bulb. And voila! You don't hurt your hands, you don't get any glass on anybody, no one gets hurt, you throw the whole thing away, you got a potato light. Pretty exciting.